The first one that I personally deal with from time to time is if my bass is too high on the tuning pin. Why is this an issue? Because the higher the bass is up on the tuning pin, the more air has to travel from down here all the way up here. If there's too much up here, the amount of space that the air has to travel in here is greater. So it's going to take more force to get that, for the bag, to get that air up through the end of the bass drone here. So the higher this is up on the tuning pin, say like that much even, that's going to cause the the bass drone to probably gurgle and double tone and not even start. That part will depend on how your bass drone reed is configured. So the other thing is that you want to have the air efficient pipe bag. If the pipe bag is not air efficient, and this will be discussed in my bagpipe setup video, you want to ensure that the pipe bag is airtight so that you're not wasting your breath trying to inflate a bag and strike it in, where the pipe bag is simply going to make that more of a challenge than it's worth. The other thing is that with the drones, is that if the drone reeds are taking in too much air, that is a big problem. I can't tell you how many people I've heard that have tried to do a drone test or not even know how to do a drone test. And they have had drone reeds that are simply taking too much air, and I mean too much. Years ago, I tried playing a student's pipes, and I couldn't even get the chanter to start because their drone reeds were ridiculously open. What I mean by that is that the bridle on the reed was far too down on the tongue. The tongue was allowing too much air to go into the reed, and it simply was not air efficient in the slightest. It happens. If this happens to you, there are ways to fix this, and they're not that difficult. First of all, if your drone reeds are taking too much air, you can move the bridle on the drone reed tongue down a little bit so that not as much air is able to get underneath the tongue and through the reed, and it will become harder to play. But it will also help to bring the drones up here down on the tuning pin, because they'll have to need more air to go through. So you need to cut down this area inside here in this part of the drone so that the air doesn't have as much room to travel, and the airflow is more efficient. So if you have trouble striking in, ensure that your blowpipe and all the stalks are airtight. Again, that's bagpipe setup. And that your chanter reed is also not that difficult. If your chanter reed is too hard for you, you are going to struggle, and if it's too easy, then you're going to probably squawk a little bit. And I'll talk more about this in my how to choose pipe reeds video, which I will be remaking shortly. So first of all, if your bass, for example, gurgles when it starts, that's not a bad thing. Some people actually like the sound of a bass drone if it's gurgling, because it's almost kind of like it's almost like an introduction to the instrument being heard. And some players do this. If it happens with mine, to me, it's neither here nor there. You want to have your drones tuned in a rough spot for optimal tuning quality, which is about 2 finger widths here, and I've talked about this before in other videos. And with the drones here, you want to just above the hemp line, and mine are practically right where I want them, so that's fantastic. If you want to get your drones going and the strike-in to be easier, I also suggest that you, even before you put the chanter in, put a cork in the chanter stock, inflate the bag, and play the drones for a few minutes. If you want to tune the drones while you're in that waiting period of warm-up, go right ahead. You're probably going to have to retune them just a little bit when you put the chanter in, because even if you have these all tuned together, they may not be in tune with the chanter where you tune them up here. So that's something else to consider as well. Another thing I often see people doing, and I pointed this out in my very first video back in 2012, is how aggressively people go to strike their bagpipe in. So let's just imagine that my pipe bag is full of air. I'm ready to strike it in. If I don't smack the bag like this, I just don't, because I find that it's going to throw my balance off for one. It's going to possibly make my drones go off my shoulder, which is not something I really want to happen. And you really shouldn't need to do that with your pipes if they're set up properly, which may be something that you need to look at. So again, my Bagpipe setup video is in my list of videos. If your pipe bag is air efficient and your drone reeds are taking the proper amount of air for your level, then you should have no issues with putting your hand on the bag, giving it a bit of a gentle tap, and then getting it underneath your arm and striking it in properly. If you're having issues with this more than what we've covered in this video, please please post a comment below, and I will do my best to answer the question for you or give some tips for you to help make the process easier. Striking in is not easy, and neither is stopping. It may not sound that difficult to some, but for others it can be really difficult, and this is why I'm making this video, so that hopefully if you're having issues, we can make the process easier for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel. We're always happy to help out more people, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.